Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to be sharing with you how to cut and sew a stylish queen and neckline three-part corset with asymmetric hemline. So if this is something you like, please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up. So let's dive right into today's video. So to start, here is my pattern and I went ahead to tape it up as one piece, and I'll go ahead to cut this out, and I will be adding ½ inch all the way around. I'll also use this same pattern to cut out my lining, and on the lining I'll be ironing a soft stay on it, and also on this satin I went ahead to iron soft stay on it. So my corset pattern is using a zipper and I don't want it to be too stiff. So if you're making use of a lacing bar area, go ahead to iron a stay on your main fabric and a thicker gum stay on the lining piece of your dress. So now here is my back pattern, which I've already cut out, and when I was cutting it out I taped up the dart pattern on the back dress so that I won't sew up a dart. So now I'm merging up the side, that is placing the armhole on the armhole of the back pattern. So remember when we were cutting this out, I used one pattern only. So after cutting out this pattern, I will use this side to trace what I have on this side that is a bit shorter. So you have to place your pattern together, that is the wrong side facing the wrong side, before cutting that out. So after this is the lining piece, and I went ahead to also iron my gum stay, and I'm going to go ahead to sew this up. So now I'm going to sew up the neckline, the zipper side, the lower side, the side going towards my armhole, and I will leave the armhole area of the dress open. And if you have any excess lining, go ahead to trim it off. So I'll also place this. Remember I used the front pattern to trace out the side of the back pattern. So what you're going to do is also trace that out on the lining. So you're going to make sure the right side of the fabric is facing the right side of the lining when you're tracing this out. And I'll cut out the excess also I have at the armhole, and I will be stitching this up. So after that we'll move over to the front pattern. Now I went ahead to cut out strips of fabric. I'll just rule out a line just to show you where I'll be sewing my boning channels. So you can make more than 5 boning channel for this, but for my pattern I'm just making 5. So I cut out 1.5 inches. Now I'll place, stitch with ½ inch, go ahead to turn it and top stitch on it the other side. I'll also repeat this process on the other side of my pattern. So you want to also make sure that you know the size of boning you're using before cutting out your boning casing. So this is it after I was done sewing. The boning I'm using is 0.5 inches, and that's why I cut out about 1.5 inches for my boning channels. So I'll go ahead and I will pass my boning. So when you're passing your boning, you want to make sure that you have about ½ inch on top and ½ inch underneath it, because you're going to be stitching up this pattern and you're going to be attaching your cup at the upper part. So even if you don't want to add your boning now, you can just leave it. After you're done adding your cup or attaching your cup, you can go ahead to do that. So if you find it difficult to attach your boning, you can just tape it up with a tape to avoid it tearing your fabric also. And for this boning, you can also go ahead to iron it out before passing it through, or after you're done passing, when you're ironing your dress, you're going to iron this part flat. But for a beginner, it's best to iron your boning before inserting it. It will be much easier for you to iron your dress. So this is the back pattern of my dress, and that is what it looks like. Moving over, we are going to work on the cup. So I cut out 2 pieces for each, and I cut out a bra foam. So I'll be using one side to teach you how to attach your cup. So go ahead to place the wrong side on the shiny part of your bra foam. If you're using a bra foam, if you're using a wadding, you're going to use the same process. If you're also making an using an already made cup, you're going to join your pattern this way first before attaching your cup. So if you're using an already made cup, go ahead and iron stay on your fabric. So you're going to iron stay about twice on your main fabric, and you're going to join it just the same way I'm joining my pattern. So I'll just go ahead and iron this, and I'll be joining this with 1/2 inch this way. So this is the lining part which I have already joined, and this is how my cup is looking. So after I'm done sewing, you want to go ahead and trace out the excess foam you have on this part. Please do not trace out your fabric, only the foam. And this is what I also have on the other side, which I will go ahead to trace it out. So if you're using an already made cup, you're still going to join your pattern this way. So after I'm done joining, I'm going to go ahead to place it down, and I will be pinning it. So you just have to go ahead to pin your cup before going ahead to join. That way it will be much easier for you. So here is my cup after I'm done joining. Now I'll just go ahead and I will trace out the excess that I have, the excess bra foam, and I went ahead to top stitch it all the way around. If you notice, I have a top stitch. This is just to hold down my cup very well. And after trimming this off, this is what my cup looks like. And on this side also, I'll just go ahead and trace this out. So I like molding or making my own cup because I don't have much bust. My bust is just 33 inches. So next we're going to mark where we are going to attach our cup. Go ahead to mark the midpoint of this pattern. So after marking that, I'll place my cup where I have my joining, and I'll go ahead to pin. Now I'm going to go ahead to pin this all the way around. So I'll check if the space I have on the main fabric will accommodate my cup. So if it doesn't accommodate, all you're going to do is just notch it a little round, and then you're going to pin. This will help your cup sit properly or very well on the space. So I'll just go ahead and pin this all the way around. After I'm done pinning one side of my cup, this is what I have. Next, I'll go ahead to continue pinning the other side. Make sure that what you have here fits the other side. If not, go ahead and notch it. So what I have fits, and I'll just go ahead to pin this up. So whatever I'm doing on this part of the cup, I will go ahead to do this on the other side. So now I'll just go ahead and I will join my cup with 1/2 inch all the way round. So after I'm done joining the cup, we are going to go ahead to work on the yoke. So if you notice, I added 1/2 inch, and I'll use this to stitch. I'll stitch one side only, and I'll leave it open. So I'm done joining my cup. This is what I have, and the next step is to join your yoke to your dress. So you want to measure about 2.5 inches from your cup, because that's what we came in on the pattern, and you're going to place it this way, and you're going to stitch it down with 1/2 inch. The next step is now to fold in that yoke inside. Place your cup on the lining piece, and you're going to pin it down. So the right side of the lining should face the right side of the fabric when you're doing this also. So I'll just go ahead and pin this all the way around. So at this point, if you haven't yet subscribed, please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, leave your comment at the comment section. So now to stitch, I'll leave a little space here to turn my dress, and then I'll stitch with 1/2 inch all the way around, following the shape. So after I'm done sewing, I'll just go ahead, go in with my scissors, and I will notch it round. So after I'm done sewing, this is what I have. I'll just go ahead to notch this all the way around my pattern. This is to make your dress relax very well. So on this part that I have my cup, I'll just go ahead to trace out the excess foam. So I also forgot to explain for those people using an already made cup. So after you're done joining your cup, you're going to use a hemming gum to attach it, or you can stitch your already made cup to the main cup fabric, which is your material. Stitch it down round it, and then you're going to join it to your the space on your cup, so it is not that difficult. It is also easy. So I'll just go ahead and I will trim out all the excess foam I have. This is to make sure that my cup relaxes very well. So this is the space I said I'm going to leave, and I'll use it to turn this to the right side. So after turning to the right side, next step is to shape the dress. So I went ahead to add zipper to the back part of my dress with the zipper allowance. So now I'll go ahead to turn the shoulder of the dress. So to join the shoulder, I'll use the back shoulder, open it up, and I'll wrap it. That is placing the front shoulder in between the back shoulder, and I'll be stitching with half inch. I'll also repeat this at the other shoulder. So this is my sleeve. In our previous video, we cut out our basic sleeve, and I'll be using it for this pattern. The only difference is that at the lower part I added a little curve on it for my sleeve. So now I'll notch the center and I'll place it on my pattern, on my dress, sorry, and I'll be stitching it with half inch. So after I was done stitching, this is what I have. So if you notice on my dress, I have a joining on the lining. My dress actually burnt, so I just had to replace that part. Now take your tape and place at your under bust. From that point, mark your under bust measurement. Go ahead to mark your waistline. Here will serve as the hip measurement, and I'll mark my cup on top. The next step you want to take is to insert your body measurement, or if you don't want to do that, you can just go ahead and shape out your sewing allowance. Since I used 1.5 inches for the sewing allowance, turning it with half inch with the lining, I have 1 inch left. But I'm just going to place this to measure what I have. So I have 18.5 inches here. My bust circumference is 33 inches. So 33 divided by 2, I have 16.5, and the measurement I have here is 18.5. Taking 16.5 out from 18.5, I have 2 inches. So that 2 inches, I'll share 1 inch on both sides, still giving me that 1 inch sewing allowance remaining. I extended that 1 inch to my under bust because it is almost the same measurement. So for the waist here, I'll just go ahead to measure what I have, and what I have is 16, and my waist circumference is 28 divided by 4, which gives me 14. So taking out 14 from this 16, I have 2 inches, which I also shared at both sides. So I'll just go ahead and extend what I have to the side this way and reconnect it. So if you notice, my pattern is in order. I have 1.5 inches for sewing allowance. I used half inch to turn the lining, and I'll be shaping out with 1 inch. So on the sleeve, I'll be shaping with half inch because I added only half inch for the sewing allowance. Then I'll connect it back to the armhole, or you can measure your armhole circumference divided by 2 at that point and mark. So after I was done sewing, this is the final look of the dress. If you find this video very interesting and educative, please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and also join us in our next video. Thanks.